Hi, we're Ellie and David. Join us as we overland the Americas in Yak, our Land Rover Defender.
Yak's already taken us across Europe and Central Asia, but this expedition will be our biggest challenge yet.
We're overlanding from the southern tip of Argentina all the way to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska. Follow along as we experience all the extremes and beauty of a simple life on the road in our Pan-American adventure.
Not too bad a night's sleep, but these fellas decided they were going to start crowing at 3 in the morning. The last couple of days when we've been driving, we've heard a sort of scraping noise as we turn right. Not really loud, but definitely noticeable. Just jacked up the front right wheel, and there is a significant amount of play. I'm going to strip everything back now and just have a look. It might just be that the nuts on the wheel bearings need tightening a little bit. It could just be that the wheel bearings are on their way out, which I'm hoping is not the case, because that's quite an involved job, bit of a faff. I'm gonna do that now before breakfast, just see if I can just tighten the nuts up and it'll solve the noise and solve the issue. If not, it's going to be a couple of hours of working on the wheel bearings. Hopefully not too much of an issue, but just we'll jack it up now and see what's going on. So I tried tightening the nuts up and it still had a bit of play, so my guess is that one of the bearings is not in a good way. These ones seem okay, and grease isn't great, but these ones are rolling all right, but maybe it's the rear one that's not great. So I think I'm just going to change them, keep these as spares. Shouldn't be too difficult. I know what I'm doing now, but yeah, just going to crack on with it. Almost done. Did have to replace the bearings in the end, which actually didn't take too much time. I did have a bit of a struggle getting the bearing races out, but Alejandro came over and helped me, got his big sort of drift chisel thing, smacked them out, no problem. So almost back on the road, no play. I'm happy that it wasn't too much of a hassle, and definitely worse places to do it. We're using the Starlink a little bit this morning just to do a little bit of planning, and then the inverter started beeping, which means the leisure battery is starting to run a little bit low on power. The Starlink is brilliant, but it does sap our power pretty quickly if we're stopped for a fair while. We didn't do a lot of driving yesterday, so battery didn't have much chance to get a lot of charge. And we tried starting the Land Rover this morning and nothing. It's clicking, ticking over. You can link the batteries manually, but still nothing. It's just not enough juice to get the starter motor going. So trying to flag someone down now to see if they can give us a little bump start, and then hopefully do a good bit of driving today to give the battery a chance to charge up. We have been kind of thinking about getting a solar panel just at the top of the Land Rover, and that's confirmed to me that it's something we definitely need to do with use of kind of laptops and the Starlink. It's not a huge amount, but it's enough to drain the battery fairly quickly.
We've been trying to flag someone down for quite a while now. No joy yet. We've had quite a few trucks drive past. David's been waving at them frantically. But we're wondering whether it's because in this area there are quite a lot of vendors that stand by the road kind of waving and flagging you down to try and get you to buy something. So whether they maybe think that we're trying to sell something, I don't know. Yay! Finally!
I can't see a tow hitch on that at all.
Ah, interesting.
How this is going to work?
Maybe you could give us a jump start.
Maybe.
Oh no, he's struggling a little bit.
We're going to see if we can get a bit more length of the tow strap so that he's on the flat and not trying to pull us up. I'm not sure it's the strongest tension.
Muchas gracias, señor. ¿Para usted?
Gracias.
camera ran out of storage just as we actually managed to get the bump start going. He pulled us onto the road, which was a little bit sketchy, but yeah, got it started. It's running fine now. Just we've got a big drive, so it will hopefully charge the batteries. I don't know how much it might deplete the actual health of the batteries, having them get down to that lower voltage. I felt really bad for the strain it was putting on his truck, just pulling us up a very slight gradient. It was really struggling, so we gave him a bit of money and a drink just to say thanks. But yeah, glad we got there in the end.
We're winding our way towards the San Martin region over the next few days, which will take us up over the Andes again, up to altitude, and then back down towards the rainforest. So I think by the end of the day today we'll be just outside Huánuco, so we'll be at about 1,800 metres there, not too high. But yeah, the weather's definitely got a little bit cooler since we've left the coast in Lima.
It's another classic driving lunch of bread, olive oil and salt. It's pretty good, but very chewy. Also bought these jammy little alfajor looking things, so we'll see. It's quite dry. Okay.
Do some water? Probably can't quite tell, but the road's been completely washed away on either side here. Apparently there's a viewpoint somewhere here. I've mentioned before that back home in the UK I work for a small bean-to-bar chocolate company called Sulkum Dairy. All of our cacao that we use to make our chocolate is sourced from cooperatives in the Peruvian Amazon. So, of course, we had to seize the amazing opportunity to check it out at the source while we were in Peru. So we made our way back over the Cordillera Central and down into the cloud forests of the San Martin region on the edge of the Amazon basin. As we've said before, the contrast in Peru's landscapes really is staggering. It messes with your mind going from high Andean plains to tropical rainforest within the same day. We just had our first interesting interaction with Peruvian Police. They pulled us over at the side of the road and got David to open up quite a few of our bags in the back, doing quite a thorough search.
We've had some friends saying that they've had quite a few run-ins with the Peruvian police, a lot of them asking for money, bribes, that sort of thing. So it did kind of feel like he was looking for something to kind of charge us with, and then eventually, after we'd searched everything, he then said, "Oh, I'm writing you up a ticket for an infraction," and I kind of didn't fully understand what he was saying. I said, what for? Because at that time we'd found nothing. He asked if we had any drugs, asked if we smoked, but then he started pointing at the gear stick, saying that it was an infraction, stuff was in the way of it, which is not true. Though we have our extension cable, but nothing really in the way.
It wasn't in the way of anything important. It was just the
high-low gear stick.
Yeah.
So we just sort of stood our ground, didn't really say much, and
pleaded ignorance. We kind of understood what he was saying, but we just said we don't speak Spanish, which we don't really.
No. I understood the gist of what he was saying, but then he kept saying, "Oh, you're going to have to come with me," and eventually we just said, "Oh, we'll just ring our embassy just to double check."
The tone changed a little bit after
very
that.
Quickly, yeah.
We both got a handshake, and he sent us on our way. We came across this unused petrol station here, so I think we're going to stay here for the night. We double checked with the families that live just across the road to see if it's all right. I don't think it's in use at all, so we should be fine. We've been trying to find wild camping spots with shelters like this because it's tended to start raining around the time when we're kind of cooking and sorting out the bags in the inside of the Land Rover, which has been a little bit annoying. Obviously we've got our awning out the back, and it's just got so wet and hasn't had the chance to dry, so we've been looking for kind of proper shelters so we can just do everything in the dry in the evening, and that's made a big difference. The family across the road were also fermenting cacao beans, which was really cool to see. I'm pretty sure they've got cacao trees on their land there, so I'm going to go and check them out.
Our family have invited us over for some food, and we asked for a little because we've already eaten, and they've given us lots.
Wow, in the flesh. So cool. Muy grande.
Sí, va creciendo, va creciendo.
It's crazy how they start this small. How tiny. Amazing to see. Such a cool colour as well.
Él es común.
She's looking for one to open up, Ellie.
Ese de ahí también, por ahí está.
So cool.
So cool.
Quite heavy.
Ahí está perfecto. Lo abre. Así se puede pegar.
Soy on mono. Like Paddington, but cooler.
Dulce.
It's crazy that we were on our way to the farm, but stumbled across this just from camping at a petrol station. Really cool.
Just completely organically. I read that some people who make chocolate, they suck all the beans first because the enzymes in the saliva actually help the fermentation process, which is interesting.
She has also just offered us a chicken, which we declined.
So they've laid all the beans out to ferment them and dry them. The smell is really strong. 2 días.
Fermentado.
¿Es el primero día hoy?
Ya está fermentado. Hoy es el primer día de la secada. Tiene que secar 3 días.
Sí.
Que esté seco, que esté aromático.
Un proceso muy tradicional.
Sí,
Sí.
es práctico, fácil y cualquiera lo puede hacer.
Sí. Oh, hola.
Ya ha visto su maíz. ¡Ay!
He spotted the maize.
I think they might be giving us all of this sugar cane, which is slightly concerning because we don't have the space, but so don't know how one stores this. Just put the whole thing in?
I think you just chew it.
Wow, that's sweet.
You've got it all down your chin.
Show us how it's done, Ellie.
It's juicier than I thought. The last time I had this, I think, was in Kenya when we got engaged a long time ago.
5 of them. We're in the San Martin region at the moment, and it is incredibly beautiful. Definitely our favourite part of Peru so far. We've come down from altitude to the region, and we've been anticipating quite a lot of rain because it's kind of rainforesty area right on the edge of the Amazon, and we're in the wet season, so we've been looking for kind of shelter to park overnight, but also because this back window here leaks pretty badly. I've kind of gunged it up with silicone, but it's not really done anything. Not really surprised. But I found this really cool communal space in this small little village we've driven through right next to a football field, and just about managed to fit the roof tent underneath it as well.
Today's the day. We are finally on our way to the cacao plantation. Really excited. We've just met Carlos, who's our contact from the Cacao Cooperative. We're following him now. He is in a Hilux. We should have warned him that we're probably not going to be able to keep up, but we'll try our best. We are sporting our Sulkum Dairy on Tour t-shirts. This is serious business.
Carlos has just pulled over and come up to our window and said, I don't know if you have driven here much, but the people drive a bit crazy, which we have realised. He said, I'm going to drive a bit faster now. He's given us the village that we're going to, and it's just said, just try to keep up, and if you need anything, call me. So here we go.
The smell of fermenting cacao is in the air now, so we must be getting close. The San Martin region has consistently warm temperatures, high humidity, abundant rainfall, and fertile soil, making it the perfect environment for cultivating high-quality, healthy cacao. In fact, this region is home to some of the world's oldest and most genetically diverse cacao strains, renowned for their complex and refined flavour profile. In an industry where exploitation and child labour is still a sad reality, the San Martin region is widely recognised as a leader in sustainable and ethical cacao production. This area was once a hub for illegal coca cultivation, but as a result of government and NGO efforts and the dedication of local farmers and cooperatives like this one, the agricultural landscape has been completely transformed, resulting in environmental sustainability, reduced violence, and a fair price for farmers. This is Carlos, who is our guide and translator for the day. And this is Alfonso, he's the cacao farm manager here. We started out in this very young cacao plantation. These seedlings are only a couple of months old and are being planted amongst the native banana plants, which will provide valuable shade from the scorching sun here as they mature. Alfonso stressed the importance of working in harmony with the natural environment by using agroforestry practices like this, which can increase biodiversity by providing habitats for wildlife, improve soil health, and reduce the need for chemical inputs. This is something he also teaches farmers in the local area where there's a history of unsustainable farming. They've just cut some coconuts down for us to drink, and I'm glad because it is hot here, I'm sweating. But I'm sure these will cool us down a bit. Oh, muchas gracias. Alfonso then took us to a second, more mature plantation. These trees are around 15 years old and produce fruit throughout the year. It was really interesting to be able to see the cacao pods at all different stages of development here.
This is the CCN51 variety.
¿Por qué? Porque es que, como les decía ya, porque es que optan la mayoría de agricultores por esta variedad, por el tamaño del fruto.
Okay. Why do they choose that kind of variety? Because of the size of the fruit, the amount of production that you get, and also the strength of the plant. Cuando ya están listos para cosechar el cacao, el fruto.
El color. Cuenta aquí más o menos son 2,5 metros de altura más o menos. Yeah.
He says that's not the right tool to do the job, but I'm sorry, that's what I have right now.
Wow.
Ya, esta es la semilla. ¿Sí tienes? Ya. Si ustedes se dan cuenta, los granos son grandes.
It's a bigger seed.
Ya.
Straight from the source.
Rico.
Sí, sí.
You want to try some? The cacao pods are harvested by hand when perfectly ripe, and the extracted beans are fermented for 2 to 8 days depending on the variety, before being laid out in the sun to dry for a further few days. A traditional practice which you can see and smell all over the region as smallholders spread out their beans by the side of the road. The dried beans are then roasted. This further develops the richness and complexity of the flavour. The final step before the cacao is sent off to make chocolate is winnowing. This is the process of removing the husk from the bean so that you're left with the precious cacao nibs. Proper dark chocolate is made of only 2 ingredients, these cacao nibs and sugar. With that, our cacao tour was over, and we said goodbye to Carlos and Alfonso after giving them some very well-travelled Sulkum Dairy chocolate bars as a small thank you. Join us next time as we cross into beautiful Ecuador, accidentally get ourselves caught in a water fight, and hike up a volcano.